Hey, I'm Allie from Sugarpusher, and I'm here guest starring in the Amoretti Test kitchen today. I'm going to show you how to make some Tart Apple Marshmallows. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by blooming our gelatin. So I've got 3 packets of unflavored gelatin, and I'm just going to place them into my stand mixer. And then I'm going to pour a ½ cup of cold water right over the top of it. And we're going to let that sit for a little bit to let it bloom. Now, in the meantime, we're going to add 2 cups of sugar, fine sugar, caster sugar if you can find it, into a saucepan. And then the other ½ cup of water that we've got here. And a ½ cup of corn syrup, light corn syrup, as well as a pinch of salt. Then we're just gonna cook this over medium-high heat until it reaches about 240 to 245 degrees. All right. So we can stick our candy thermometer here on the side. And again, we're just gonna cook this to 240 to 245 degrees. So you want to stir this together and just make sure that all the sugar is mixed in, being careful not to get sugar crystals up the side. We don't want this mixture to crystallize. It's less likely to crystallize because we have corn syrup in it. And then we just wait a little while, stir it every so often, and then we'll mix it into here and we'll have marshmallows. So before we mix in our sugar mixture, we're going to get this gelatin mixed up, and you can do that with this, but I like to do it just with a silicone spatula, and that way it gets everything. You want to make sure all of the gelatin is mixed in, and then it's going to kind of look like applesauce when it's ready. All right, now we've got a mixer fitted with the whisk attachment, and we are going to put this on low speed and start pouring in our sugar syrup. And we're gonna do it slowly down the side in a thin, steady stream. And we wanna make sure that we do it slowly so that we don't shock the gelatin and risk ruining our beautiful batch of marshmallows. Now we can start cranking this up little by little until we get to high speed or a medium-high speed. And we're gonna let this whip for about 7 minutes or until you start to feel it being cool to the touch. All right, so now about a minute before we're gonna finish whipping this, we're gonna add in our Amoretti Tart Apple Artisan Naturals, and we're gonna use about a tablespoon. You can add more to taste if you'd like. We can also add in, if you want a little bit of color, some green food coloring. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. So we're gonna add that in. So the tart apple flavoring will add in some color, but because these are gonna be tart apple marshmallows, I wanna add in a little bit of extra color just to enhance it. So we'll add in a couple of drops of liquid gel food coloring. It's important that it's gel. And then we'll give it a mix. So we'll mix it for about another minute to get the flavor in. And again, if you want a more potent flavor, you can add in some more of the Artisan Naturals. All right, now we are ready to add this into a prepared pan. I have taken an 8x8-inch square pan, lined it with some tin foil, and greased it. You wanna make sure it's really well greased or else your marshmallows are not going to release. All right, so we'll just get all of the marshmallow off of the whisk here. So we're just gonna pop this into our prepared pan. You can see how fluffy it is. Something that's really helpful is making sure that your silicone spatula that you're using to do this is greased as well, so you don't have marshmallows stuck to everything. Now, one really important note with this is that you want to make sure you're working quickly to get this marshmallow into the pan because it will start setting pretty fast. And then you just want to smooth it all out. These are going to be nice, big, thick marshmallows. If you want them thinner or smaller, you can use a bigger pan. The bigger the pan, the thinner they will be. And we're gonna let these set. We're gonna sprinkle it with powdered sugar, cover it with some plastic wrap or some foil, and let it set 8 hours usually before cutting, or overnight. I usually just make them and let them set overnight. Once you get your powdered sugar on too, you can use gloved hands or greased hands and sort of get the top of it smoother, a bit flatter. All right, we're gonna cover these and let them set, and then we'll come back and cut them up. All right, so we are back. We've let our marshmallows set up overnight. Now we're going to cut them and dust them with some powdered sugar, and they're gonna be amazing. So we're gonna remove it from the pan. We sprayed this pan down with some grease, and it was lined with foil. We're going to dust our work surface with a little bit of this powdered sugar so that the marshmallows don't stick. So we've got a bench scraper here that I've greased. This is my favorite tool for cutting marshmallows. I'm going to cut off these rough edges first so that we get a nice square marshmallow. And by greasing it, you can see not as much marshmallow will stick to it. You can also just use some powdered sugar. All right, so let's cut them into squares. You can be really precise about this. You can use a ruler, you can use measuring tape, whatever you want. I just like to wing it, so I just kind of get a visual, and it's really up to you on how big you want your marshmallows. I'm gonna cut them because they're so tall, about this wide. And then cut across this way. These are absolutely huge. This is my favorite part, is pulling them. These are so big, thick, fluffy, gorgeous. And you just kind of dust them in this powdered sugar. I like to just put powdered sugar in a bowl and dust off the excess. This is just gonna keep them nice and fresh and from sticking to each other when you store them. I usually just store mine in an airtight plastic bag with some parchment paper in between layers if you're gonna stack them on top of each other. Again, just to prevent any sticking. And now you have delicious Tart Apple Marshmallows. I'm gonna pull one of these open so you can see it. So good. And that's it, Tart Apple Marshmallows. Thanks so much for joining me, guest starring here in the Amoretti Test kitchen today. You can follow me if you want to see more of my recipes at sugarpusher on Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget to pick up some Artisan Naturals for all of your marshmallow making needs. Bye.